All right, so we're live today. The Chaos Cast is rolling, and we're fixing to start the podcast version up. So welcome in if you are just now joining us on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We're glad to have you. We got the Happy Gun shirt, link to the Happy Gun shirt in the bio. Go to the website. We got everything there. If you are just now joining the Chaos crew, we are glad you're here. If this is your first time in the Chaos Cast, we hope you enjoy yourself. We're going to have a good time today. We're going to talk about some current news, reasons to get ready because it's a coming, boys and girls. There's things that are happening right now that we have been talking about happening for quite a while now. Got a lot going on in the world, and I believe we are already at war, and we're already currently in World War III. We've been talking about that for a while on here. And there's a lot of signs. There's a lot of seems like cyber attacks. How you doing, Kate? We got my mom, Kate, in the house. So remember, no abuse, no evasive politics, and don't be talking about kids, and no racism. Yeah, I hate I have to still say that kind of thing. In this day and age, but we've still got people that are unfortunately racist in this world. So we're going to start the podcast. So y'all join us as we delve into this wonderful world of insanity. Somewhere over the rainbow. I'll probably get like a copyright for that or something, you know? I don't know. Way up high. I don't remember the rest of the words. That's all I remember. Judy. You know why it's on my mind? Because I was watching a Judy Garland. I was listening to a podcast that was talking about the dark side of Hollywood, and it was talking about Judy Garland and how she basically was just messed up for life because of the way that the producers and MGM handled this context is crazy. The way the producers handled the situation on the set of The Wizard of Oz. Got a little something under my contact, folks. Hey, Ben, how you doing? Oh, Lord. There we go. We got it. So if you're just now coming in, hit that follow button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this out. Help us get out there. Help us overcome the algorithm that wants to like us in and don't like me. But, yeah, there's that. So the first thing up on our agenda today that we want to talk about is the Brazilian uprising. So we had we talked a little bit about that on Monday, but now it's looking like they're going to have more of these riots. Now, there's a lot of people saying that it bears strange resemblance to the January 6th, which basically means they've staged this and they're just trying to shut these guys up. Yeah, I got them, buddy. I got some good. I got 2 or 3 pairs of old factory safety glasses. Them things are about daggum bulletproof. Save your life. I need to get LASIK. That's the one big thing. But yeah, it says Brazil's 11-day-old administration braced on Wednesday under the renewed threat of a mass protest by supporters of the far-right former president Jair Bolsonaro after they raided the nation's capital just 3 days ago. The Sunday attacks were not only an eerie copy of the riots on the U.S. Capitol, but came just 2 days after the anniversary of the attack that the U.S. Congress is still reeling. They're still reeling from. They don't know what to do with themselves. That's my lunchbox. It's my lunchbox for work. I have to have something to strap on when I'm climbing the ladder up into the haul truck. And plus, it's just convenient because I can strap it on. So a company sent me that a while back to test out. It's just worked out real well, so I've kept using it. But Brazil's leftist president, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, man, that's a dang long name. Well, I'm going to call him Little Louie. Little Louie took precautionary measures to bolster security nationwide on Wednesday after renewed calls to retake power were circulated on flyers and social media by pro-Bolsonaro groups. So that's a little bit of what's happening right now in other parts of the world. So again, share this out. Hit that like button. If you're not hitting that like button, what are you doing? I'm just playing. But yeah, hit that like button. Hit that follow button. Share it out with your friends. Let's get them in here. We got some of our mods in here. We got Caveman in here. We got Big John in. We got Kate in here. We're glad to have y'all back. We're kind of easing back into the schedule after the holidays. Man, the holidays were wild. A lot happened while I was absent from the news cycle. I mean, I was still watching it, and I kept thinking about getting on here, but I was like, no, I got to spend time with the family. And, you got to do that. But, yeah, we had train derailments, and we're going to talk a little more about how that's happened. But we're seeing so much across the board. It's just crazy what we're seeing across the board. Just coincidence? I don't believe so. Today, and this is big everywhere, and this is pretty big news. This is a big happening. Now we've had their little dry runs. Whoever's doing these cyber attacks, I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. Whoever's hitting these systems, they're covering their tracks. They're saying there's no evidence of cyber attack, but as well as I do, they can cover their tracks. But the FAA had to ground all U.S. flights. I believe it was this morning. January 11th. This is from Reuters. U.S. flights were slowly beginning to resume departures, and a ground stop was lifted after the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, scrambled. I keep thinking about eggs. Scrambled to fix a system outage overnight that had forced a halt to all U.S. departing flights. The cause of the problem with a pilot alerting system, which delayed thousands of flights in the United States, was unclear. But U.S. officials said they had so far found no evidence of a cyber attack. They found no evidence. Don't mean it ain't happened, folks. Again, share this out if you're just now coming in. Hey, we're going to give you our take on it. We're going to get this out here to you. We're going to try and connect the dots. Now, we had this happen, I believe it was in Dallas, about a month ago? And they could not figure out why this was happening. Like, they literally didn't know what had caused it. We had Southwestern is basically on the, they're basically in a big mess because of the holidays, and their system went down because they hadn't been working on it. The pilots are forming a revolt. They're coming out and speaking against them. They're offering you 20,000 free airtime miles to everybody that got stuck in it. But, I digress. They can't fix this. This is not just a few things happening. These are many things that are happening around the world. Train derailments. There's a story about a train derailment. Now, this is an Amtrak train traveling from the D.C. area to Florida for almost a full day longer than expected after its route was diverted in the rural South Carolina due to the derailment of a freight train. For Michael McFadden and his family, that began as a fun trip to Florida to visit Legoland turned into a nightmare after a train ride meant to last around 17 hours turned into more than 35-hour ordeal. So there's people that still take trains to travel. And this man and his family, they want to have a good, fun ride. And they were, so we had the train derailment in Chattanooga not long ago, caused a lot of stir, caused a lot of problems. Now we're looking at this. We have another one, obviously, and this may have been the Chattanooga one. So this may be something they're reporting on, vastly later, because that all happened during the holidays. But yeah, we had Southwestern Airlines having all these flights canceled, and because of computer problems, we had derailments. We had all this. We got leaks in our oil pipelines and from the refineries. While we have fuel shortage. I mean, look, folks, if you ain't getting ready, what are you doing? Because you're just a hairspring away from something happening. And you're not going to be able to there's not going to be food being delivered to the store. There's going to be let's say there's a train derailment. The FAA has to ground all flights. Let's say there's a terrorist attack, because there's been terrorist attacks. We talked about that yesterday where the man, and this was an radical Islamic act of terrorism, where this guy just rides his car up into a solar power facility, and he sets the place on fire. And they had to shut down that solar energy output center, and they've shut it down. So we've seen more and more attacks on the grid. We're seeing attacks on our rail lines. We're seeing shortages in diesel. Now, there's people who say, well, that's not what's happening. But, hey, it's been happening. We're seeing politicians begin to talk about our strategic oil reserves becoming a political reserve that needs to be replenished before it runs out. We're seeing our pharmaceuticals being tapped to the nines because of our strategic pharmaceutical reserves have been used, almost exhausted. We're seeing this potential invasion of Taiwan by China. We're already having a computer chip superconductor shortage. That's why you don't have your cars. That will affect our military as well, because we had a whole lot of new military equipment that was slated to be brought in, and now I believe they're struggling to get that all together. America's in trouble, folks. There is a world war going on. You need to have your plan. And we always talk to you about ReadyWise. ReadyWise is one of our sponsors. There's a great company. I've eaten a lot of these different flavors. I got a lot of this stuff put up along with my other preps. But yeah, you can use discount code E29 TEN to save you 10% on your purchase. You can get your adventure meals. And these don't last forever, but they're great for a go bag in the short term, or camping or hiking. If you just want a quick meal, a little family outing, put them on the boat for, if you get out there and stay too long fishing and you're hungry. Or even in your backpack when you go hunting. Yeah. Because all you got to do is boil water. You just put your little stove in there, heat it up while you're in the deer stand. And you say, ooh, make you a little coffee while you're at it. Yeah. A little stove's always good to have. My brother got me one of these, the Peak. I think it's the Peak, Coleman Peak. Great heat distribution. Love that thing. We'll be doing some videos on it out there in the Bushcraft Bug Out Simulation Camp. We've got that set up. Oh, it's been addressed by an act. Be invaded by CCP. Our chip suppliers will soon be under their control. Exactly, Kirby Stomps. Exactly. Kirby Stomps is saying superconductor shortage has been addressed by CHIPS Act. Have you not heard of it? He's been sarcastic. Yeah, I mean, they took care of this. They passed the bill, folks. These bills always help. And then Taiwan's looking at being invaded, and they're so adamant, about the protection of Taiwan right now. They're talking about turning it into a weapons depot. China's running simulations on invasion, scenarios on invasion. How you doing, Safe Prep? We got Safe Prep in here. It's good to have you. Say the keywords, then promote your product. Oh, okay. Yeah, we got to. But ReadyWise. But what's the keywords there, Kirby? America relies too much on foreign country. I mean, we really do. I mean, a lot of our things that you buy in the store are somewhat made in China. It may say made in USA, but they just saying it because they brought it here and assembled it. Trust me, I know. I've been working on getting a gear line together to sell, to help people have stuff I know is going to work, and like literally everything you get from China. I have a buddy. He's got a Kevlar. He's got a body armor sponsor, and he was telling me they were having shortages because they can't get their nylon tactical webbing. They can't get their Mylar. I mean, not their Mylar, but their Kevlar from over in China right now, because China is basically currently upping their game for their own military. So they said, yeah, we can't help you, buddy. Tell this guy in America, because it's an American-made product, but yet he's getting his base materials from China. You wouldn't believe how many base materials come from China. Like, we used to have tons of sock mills up in a little place called Fort Payne, Alabama, Rainsville, Alabama. It was like the sock capital of the world, and all the sewing mills got outsourced to Mexico and China. So yeah, we don't manufacture a whole lot. We barely manufacture our textiles anymore, but a lot of those products come from overseas, and there's a lot of competition for that. The nylon 6.6 that we were like one of the few companies that was making it when I worked at Corsa, and then China was just dumping that stuff over here, trying to shut us down because they could afford to do it. We got Safe Prep, and if you're not following Safe Prep, go give this man a follow. Your day is going to be tremendously better. You're going to be more positive. You're going to have fun. I mean, I love Safe Prep. Just keep doing what you're doing, friend. I love it every time I see you. And hey, you know, sometimes you get the deliveries mixed up. We'll just say that if you know, you know. Has to do with capitalist business tactics, greed, and at its finest. It's when you take corporations and turn them loose with free trade. And I'll say this: hey, the Republicans was as big a part of this as the Democrats. Free trade is what's caused this. We edged into laissez-faire capitalism during the '90s, and all of our factories were able to go overseas because of free trade. So if we hadn't have enacted the free trade acts for global trade, we would not be in this situation. Capitalism would still be fine. People would still have jobs. Things would still be being manufactured in America, and we wouldn't have all these issues. We wouldn't have a majority of our base pharmaceuticals being made in China. So like if there's an ibuprofen shortage, and right now they're really working to keep you from getting any kind of pain medication that's opioid based. So if you need ibuprofen and they cut us off, it's going to take a minute for them to get it back up and rolling. You know, get that factory back up and rolling. We've seen a lot of this stuff happen, but the rail lines have been hit, or they're just messing up. The airlines are being hit. Our gas lines are being hit. We're seeing mass flooding. Now, I'm not saying the government's controlling the weather. I'm not saying that. But I am saying we do know how to cloud seed, and that was back in World War II. That was back in the Vietnam. We knew how to screw with the weather back then. What do we know how to do now? What can we do with microwaves? Go look up HARP. Maybe you'll figure something out. I'm not going to sit here and promote conspiracy theories, but I'm going to tell you, go buy this shirt. If you're looking to spread gun positivity in a world full of gun negativity, you can do it your own self with this happy gun. Go to the link in the bio, wherever you're at, s29chaos.com, and you can get your happy gun shirt and start spreading gun positivity across your area, your neighborhood. And when people ask you, say, hey, where'd you get that shirt? Hey, I got it at s29chaos.com in their merch store, which is a whole different part of the navigation tabs than their gear store, because their gear store is not to be confused with their merch store, because they didn't make that stuff. They outsourced it so you can have it for cheap. Go get you a bush auger. Go get you one of our bush augers. We're trying to help you. We're trying to help you out. Help us out. We're poor and broke. He's poor and broke. Just buy a shirt. I just need a shirt to keep the website going. The merch store. Get the merch store. So, Safe Prep. You know I'm unashamedly talk redneck. Now, I can talk very plainly. I can talk very astutely, like someone from up north, if you would like me to. But I like talking like this, because if I start talking like this around here, it's not going to end well. I may end up somewhere in the backwoods and you'll never see me again, and I won't be alive. We'll just say that. I won't be breathing. But yeah, I talk like this, and it works very well for me. I've done this very, very long time because I live in Alabama. We got any other Alabama folks in here? Give me a hoot and a holler in the comments if you're from Alabama, on whatever app you may be, wherever you may be listening. Give me a hoots and a holler. Roll Tide, roll Tide, roll Tide. If you know, you know, roll Tide. We ain't talking about toilet paper and washing powders. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But yeah, moving on. We had an attacker. Now I call this waiting for a gun. Waiting for a gun. They're waiting for a gun. An attacker wounded 6 people in an unprovoked blade attack in Paris. Busy Gare du Nord train station. Wednesday, I almost had to say something about that name, but hey, it's Paris. They can say what they want, have the names they want, because they don't speak English. They speak French. But that's a weird name, I'm going to tell you. I didn't mean to say that. But anyways, Wednesday morning before being shot and wounded by police. So they had to wait on somebody with a gun to get there. You know, you didn't have a right to protect yourself. You didn't have a right to defend yourself, to stop what's happening. You had to wait on a gun to get there. You know, you had to wait on somebody approved to have a gun, because not all the police over there are approved to have guns, I don't believe. But yeah, they were praising the swift intervention of police for helping prevent any fatalities. Now, you know, we recently had a knife attack, or a machete attack in New York near Times Square. attack the police. The guys with the guns. You don't have your guns, but they do. They're supposed to protect you. The dude walks up with a machete and catches them off guard. Hey, just because you got a loaded weapon on your side, my friend, don't mean you're ready. Always got to stay ready, so you don't ever got to be ready. But I'm going to tell you, just because you got a loaded gun in your person does not mean you're going to be able to defend yourself every time. This guy's arm was getting cut off. You need to think about that. What's your plan? You gonna fight? Oh, one leg, one arm over there. He's done cut one off. I'm gonna grab that one he cut off up, and I'm gonna start beating him with it. I'm like, hey, I can't even feel this. I'm gonna be like sword fighting him with it. Dadgummit. He comes at me with the machete. I'm gonna use my arm. And I'm like, you didn't expect that, boy. And you know, I'm not gonna give up. I say that, but I probably might be just sitting there going, ah! And then I die. You know. But who knows? Lord, help us all, Jesus. You know, Lord, this is a crazy, cruel world we live in. I just pray you help me and all the others that are with me here, Lord, and may see this later because the world's crazy, Lord, and I don't know exactly what your plan is, but I do know you're coming back. I know things are getting worse around the world, and we're talking about Uvalde. Everybody remembers the big incident at Uvalde, how long it took police for over an hour, children were trapped in a room with a shooter. And Uvalde, Texas, Uvalde School Police Chief Pedro Pete Arredondo told investigators he was more concerned about saving students in other classrooms than trying to stop a gunman who had already shot children and teachers. Decline that. We got somebody wanting to do a battle on TikTok, and we don't do those usually. But anyways. He was concerned about saving students in other classrooms than trying to stop a gunman who had already shot children and teachers. An interview with investigators the day after the May 2022 massacre at Robb Elementary shows Arredondo talking bluntly about his recollection of events. The CNN obtained a video recording of the previously unwritten. Yeah, that's right. I'm coming from CNN because that's the only name in news that some of y'all folks is going to listen to, just so you know you need to be prepared. You can't trust people to do your gun wielding for you. Thank you, Caveman. But anyways, as we move on, it was the only meeting about his role that he had with the Texas Department of Public Safety. Oh, wait a minute. No, I missed the part. CNN obtained a video recording of the previously unreported interview where some of Arredondo's man, that name's long. Arredondo's answers conflict with his limited public statements. It was the only meeting about his role that he had with the Texas Department of Public Safety. He stopped cooperating with the DPS inquiry after its director labeled him as incident commander and blamed him for decisions that left dead, dying, and traumatized children with a gunman for over an hour while officers waited in the hallway outside. So children were literally talking to their parents on their phones while other children were being shot beside them, or they were eventually shot and killed. This is a erroneous act. This is an erroneous act. Now, again, share this out if you're coming in and you don't agree with me. Share this out. Share this out to your gun trolling friends. Well, I don't care to argue with this. This is an atrocity. This is your fault. You can't blame guns for this because if it hadn't been a gun, it'd have been a knife. That young man, why was that door open? I keep asking that question. Why was that door? They said that they needed a little breeze in there. That teacher was getting hot. You know, it's always these. It's always something. It's always the gun. It's always the gun that causes this officer. He said there ain't no reason to get nobody else killed. You got rooms full of kids. Use the officers to escort them out and get. You literally got on video where women were having to jump in there and get their own kids. You were literally seeing Border Patrol agents thrown to the ground and stopped from going in, held at gunpoint to keep them from going inside because of this man's actions. Yeah, he's not going to be, I don't think he's going to have a job much longer, and he probably won't be able to get another in law enforcement. You'll see him down there at the Piggly Wiggly bagging your groceries. Hey, you better make sure he don't take an hour to do it. You'll be waiting a long time to get home if you do. But anyways, as we go forward, people waiting on other people with guns to come save them. I'm not doing it. You're crazy. You're the reason for the violence. They walk into a place legally. There's not supposed to be guns there. I don't know how they got those guns in there because there's laws against them. And I don't know how these people get these guns in the first place. In some of these places, they're not even supposed to have them. There's laws to keep them from having them, even though some guy that was dishonorably discharged was able to get a gun, He wasn't legally supposed to be able to. He went and shot up a church, but now that church is mad. And they're trying to sue because that law didn't work. And you know what they're saying? He'd have got a gun anyway. No matter if he passed the background, because you would. Because there's places with laws against even owning guns. You can't own guns. And there's still shootings happening. Over in the UK, I got a friend told me about it, sitting there telling me about when it happened near his house. Violent crime goes up. We'll argue guns all day. You ain't going to convince me to give them up. I'm never giving them up. And I don't know many people that will. This was ignorance and stupidity is what this was. Now, let's talk about the man of the hour, Andrew Tate. Now, I'd seen a lot of Andrew Tate stuff, and then my kids started coming home talking about Andrew Tate. A lot of young men have come to idolize Andrew Tate. He's one of the most famous influencers in the world. He's a multimillionaire. He has the cars. He has the women. He was recently arrested in Romania for sex trafficking. Now, immediately, he's always hollering that, the Matrix is coming after him. And immediately, that's what all his fans are saying. But as you begin to study into it, and you listen to him literally, being interviewed and what he says in interviews, he pretty well incriminates himself. Now, basically, he's got a whole nother estate down the road from his big house, and his girlfriends stay there, and that's how he makes his money is cam girls. I mean, there's some of these girls he's making $50,000 a month on with cam girls. What happened was one young lady from the United States was talked into coming over there because his brother, what was his name? Tristan Tate, I believe is his name, had her believing that he was in love with her. But once she got there, he eventually had her put her immediately to doing cam girl work down at the outside facility. And you have a lot of models that's coming up, jumping in there for Andrew Tate. They're jumping in there saying, hey, Andrew's never done this to me. But apparently, he keeps his business separate from his home life. And when you listen to a lot of what he's saying, I'm not speaking out against, maybe I'm wrong, but he is himself talking about how he controls women, how he was going through through the internet one day, and he was trying to figure out what assets he had to make money, and he sees cam girls talk to women live, and he clicks it to see, and he sees this girl, and he's like, I know a lot of more beautiful women than this. He's got these 4 beautiful women, 4 girlfriends, and he decides at that point, he starts doing using them for cam girls, and he has them talked into doing it, and he starts making his revenue. So there's also incidents, sound clips. You can listen to the guy talking about how, you're going to do what I say. And this is what he tells his girlfriends. You're going to do what I say. You're not going to make these decisions. He even talked about how he manipulates them, how he said women are programmable. And he talks about how when one gets mad and leaves, he would have a big party with all the other ones. And they would all just, talk about how crazy that one was and how great Andrew treats them and yada, yada, yada. He's basically a cybernetic pimp is what he is. And anyways, he begins to brag about how one girl comes up and says, I'm not leaving because I don't want to be the one that these other girls are talking about when they leave. So they're literally pressured to stay. They're literally, but there's that one instance of this one young lady. She's basically, and supposedly she had a boyfriend. So what I think she had that guy that was stuck in that friend zone. She called, hey, I'm stuck over here with Andrew Tate's brother, Tristan. I need you to come get me. Because they was locking her up, making her do cam girl. And, that's how it was. Because that's how they make a lot of their money. That and the hustle, some kind of hustlers university. So, I mean, a lot of people agree with a lot of things he says, but then in the midst of what he's saying that they agree with, they're not hearing all this crazy stuff. He was bragging about Romania, how he could get away with whatever he wanted because of how rich he was. So finally, I think the EU, because that Romania is in the EU, they called up Romania. Romania been letting him get away with a lot of stuff. They called up Romania. You're going to have to do something about this. And so finally, they come after the man. And they shut him up. They stopped his business. And, now you're hearing, now the Matrix has finally shut down Andrew Tate. So that, I'm a realist. I don't take sides on this. Some of y'all might not like what I'm saying about Andrew Tate, but I don't know. I wouldn't want my sister or a daughter or any of my nieces to be dating a man like this and being one of his girlfriends. That's just the way it is. In the midst of all the outrageous things he say that you agree with, there's probably a whole large contingent of things you didn't realize he was saying because you just heard that one clip on social media. It's one of the biggest influencers in the world, and a lot of men are listening to this guy. Now, I want to talk to the fathers. I want to talk to the ministers. I want to talk to these people. Do you even know how much this man's influenced the young men in your life around you? Because I've got my young men in my life, my son, my nephew, they're all coming. You know what Andrew Tate said? He said this, and they all take that to heart. These are young men. And I heard some of the things he said, and some of them, they kind of lined up with some of the things I'd heard other people say and other young men saying about society. But then you get to listening to what he basically believes. Hey, you better watch what your kids are coming home with, especially the young men. They're being pushed away by society in mass, no matter what race. Girl power has taken over. Hey, it's great to empower women, but you don't have to, how would you say, you don't have to disavow men in the process. But that's what they've done. They belittle them. They beat them down. The young men, they stopped putting a lot of good stuff that young men like on the TV show, started putting all this flowers and unicorns on, and the young men started going to YouTube watching Nerf gun videos. That's where my boys watch, what most of my boys watch it, because there ain't no cartoons worth watching for them anymore. I used to watch SWAT Cats. I used to watch He-Man. I used to watch Ninja Turtles. Power Rangers. They done killed off Jason David Frank. They done suicided him. Again, if you're just now coming in, hit that follow button. Hit that like button. Help us get up to 2,000. We need to get up to 2,000, folks. Let's get this thing rolling. Let me know where you're coming from if you're just now coming in. If you ain't never been to the Chaos Cast, go ahead and hit that follow button because I think you're going to like it. Thundercats. Thundercats raw! Yeah, man. Voltron, man, all that stuff. They pulled it off. It's too violent. It's too violent. SWAT Cats got pulled off real early, but those guys still own some of the rights, and supposedly they're developing them another, continuation of the SWAT Cat series. I love that thing. They had buzzsaw missiles and everything, stuff you wouldn't ever think of. But it's too violent. They had to take it off there. They had to take off another one. It just got started. You can usually find it on YouTube. It's called Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, based on these old graphic novels. Marvel's kind of made the latest iteration of it. I'm in like jail. It won't count mine. Yeah, you're in like jail. There you go. Well, hey, go to YouTube and hit the subscribe and like button over there. Hit the tap bell or Twitter. I got all my socials. You can find them in my bio. But any kind of likes helps us out. Yakima, Washington. Heck yeah, there we go. Good to see you, Carmen LaRue. Good to see you. Let me see. Let's check out Carmen LaRue here. She got a few thousand here. We'll give her a follow. So we got somebody from Washington in the Chaos Crew today. If you hadn't joined the Chaos Crew, hit that follow button. Join it. Just join it. Invite your friends. Share it out and invite your friends to join the Chaos Crew. We're just trying to get you ready. We're trying to tell you what's really going on. We're in World War III. It is a fifth-generation warfare. They're not shooting us with missiles yet. They're hitting us where it hurts, the infrastructure. And everybody's hurting right now. You got like 17 people that have drowned in the flooding in California. And one of the things that let's see here, I had a report on that. And we're in the newsroom right now. I'm going through the newspapers. It was that basically there's no end in sight to California getting hit with these atmosphere. Okay, here it is. ABC, dangerously stormy weather continues to wallop California. This is from ABC now. Drenching the drought-stricken state with a sudden and near constant onslaught of rain and snow, leaving a trail of destruction. The National Weather Service has warned of a relentless parade of atmospheric rivers in the West Coast over the coming week. President Joe Biden has issued an emergency declaration for California, while local authorities have ordered thousands of residents to evacuate. We talked about that yesterday. Why they were telling them to evacuate was because the ground was saturated. There's mudslides. And one of the main things they're seeing is that the dams are overflowing. They're reaching overflow state. They went from a drought to basically more rain than their ground could handle. and they're struggling right now. So pray for them folks in California, my friends. Dear Heavenly Father, I pray that you touch them folks in California, Lord. Help people be ready. Help people to have a plan. Help them not to get stuck in there in that water. Help them not to drive off in the water. Lord, for heaven's sake, don't let them drive off in the water. We've seen too many videos lately of people trying to drive off in water and just floating away, God. Lord, I pray you just help them. Yeah, we done talked about that. Let's move forward. But CBS Boston. Investigators are searching for evidence in the disappearance of a Cohast mother, Ann Walsh. They found trash bags with blood, a hatchet, a hacksaw, a rug, and used cleaning supplies at a transfer station in Peabody, sources told WBZ TV's I-Team Tuesday. So you're seeing this uptick in murder, and this guy supposedly it was the husband that did it. So husbands, don't go killing your wives. Don't go killing your wives. Jerry, the Transformers. We talked about. I got a couple clips up about where they're being hit with the Transformers, but we have one they caught in the process in Michigan, one they caught in the process in Ohio, and this has been happening off and on for the last few months. Now it's like a rash of them, and now you're hearing about how bad things are with where they need to harden the grid. There was a New Jersey art teacher. Now this is your teachers, folks. This is you college educated folks that you trust them with your children. And I'm just going to say, hey, be mindful of who your children are being taught by and who they are around, because I'm telling you, they're like little sponges. They soak up everything they see. And you got this teacher that basically had a fentanyl overdose. This is a teacher. Fentanyl overdose, about died. And then they arrested him. It was right in front of the school, if I'm not mistaken. And so you're dealing with that type of thing in your school systems. Do you know your children's teachers right now? Do you know who they are being taught by, who they are around, what is going on around them? A Tennessee Police Department was in turmoil Tuesday following allegations that at least 5 of its male officers had sex with a female officer, both on and off the job. So far, 5 officers have been fired and 3 more have been suspended without pay as officials in the Nashville suburb of Laverne investigate the allegations against the 60-person police department, Mayor Johnson Cole said. So I could see this happening. I can see this happening where I'm at right now. I mean, I've seen some of the people, and we went to school with some of the people that are in charge now, and some of the things that you hear that they do now make you believe this could happen, that they would do this. So yeah, these guys basically were like trying to make their own wilding out, or they were drunk on company time, on your dollar. Now we're looking at this incident. NBC reports classmates called Riley a slut and whore as she walked through the halls of Andrews Middle School in fall 2021 after she told police and school officials that a high school football player had sexually assaulted her, according to a federal complaint. False rumors spread that Riley, the then 14, on an 8th grade cheerleader, was pregnant, and some classmates said she had come on to the 16-year-old football player, according to a letter Riley's lawyer sent last year as part of a federal title. It's title something with some Roman numerals. It's like time complaint against Cherokee County Schools in West North Carolina. So this is up here around the Smokies. And so this young lady was basically being made fun of, derided, because, she went, I don't know, the whole Me Too movement's kind of made this, situation worse than it's ever been. You never know, you got some of these young ladies that'll flat out lie because they're mad. And there's been many instances of that. But then you got some that are actually have faced a real tragedy. And now we're so mixed up in our world because of the political dissidence and battle. I mean, now you have this. This young lady, I don't think it was good, the way they treated her there, But I don't know the whole story. This is Fox. 4 people vacationing in North Carolina, again, North Carolina, near the Tennessee border, same area, were stabbed at an Airbnb where authorities found a cache of various drugs. The local sheriff is reporting. Madison County Sheriff Buddy Harwood reported deputies responding to an Airbnb rental property in the town of Marshall on Monday morning just before 3:30. Upon arrival, authorities found a quadruple stabbing and unfolded in the home. Now, I put this in the crime and violence section of my notes, but I probably could have put it in there, somebody waiting for a gun. It's going to be a hard time somebody coming in to my home and stabbing me, or where I'm staying, because I'm usually armed. I don't like going to places where I can't be armed. So there are times I have to go and I just have to leave the gun in the car and even the pocket knife, especially at the courthouse. They got the metal detectors. You can't even carry a daggum belt buckle in there without them kind of questioning you. So keep your head on a swivel, folks. Be mindful, because things are popping off everywhere. There may be a disaster happen, and then with the crime the way it is, you may not have anybody coming. You need to have a plan. Are you going to fight? Are you going to freeze? Or are you going to take flight? Now, I want to ask you today: are you prepared for a lawless society? Are you prepared to defend your family, to defend yourself? Are you ready for lawlessness? Lawlessness, it's not abounding completely yet, but it's beginning to. Lawlessness is beginning to abound. We're in perilous times. We're seeing pestilence. We're seeing earthquakes in various places. We're seeing wars and rumors of wars. Right now, there's a rumor of war coming between Turkey and Greece. There's a rumor of war coming between Serbia and Kosovo. There's also what looks like an actual planned war happening where Turkey's fixing to invade the northern part of Syria to fight with the Kurdish people, because that's their kind of planning base as they try to retake what they see as their land in Turkey. You got a lot going on in the world right now. It's just the whole world's a big tinderbox. I think we're waiting for the right match to light it on fire. It's kind of smoldering right now. We're waiting for somebody to throw some gas on it. That's what we're looking at. All right. This is a businesswoman, Naniaka Camara, grew up near Montfort Hospital in the Bronx in New York and remembers going there for her own medical care. A Montefiore nurse for the past 3 years, she still lives only minutes from the hospital and often knows the patients from her neighborhood she cares for. She loves her job, she said, but she's been on strike since early Monday morning out of the frustration she feels for not providing patients with the care they deserve. It is just the latest, because there's more of these. It is just the latest in a series of job actions across the nation by nurses, unions, and other healthcare workers who say they had to strike in order to provide patients with quality health care. So you've got them you got nurses on strike. You got police you can't trust. You got natural disasters happening. You've got infrastructure being hit. You've got wars going on. Hey, I don't, those people that are living with their head in the sand thinking we're going to continue on as we always have. Hey, wake up. I'm telling you, man, it ain't going to be getting no better anytime soon. You better get prepared. We got all the different ways to help you get prepared on our website at s29chaos.com. So go check it out. Join that newsletter. We're going to be working on getting some more stuff going there, more and more, trying to up that game. We got a lot going on. And I do want to thank everybody that bought ReadyWise, because, I mean, like that woman, my handler, Molly, she went in there and she's like, you got like a bunch of, she was talking about all the clicks. And I was like, yeah, I've been repping that stuff. People been kind of getting concerned. And because last year it was, I was doing everything I could and couldn't get it going. And something just changed this year. And more people started getting there. So I want to thank all of you that went and bought. I want to thank everybody, all my moderators and all my supporters that come in and watch this and listen to it and download it. Again, we got this on podcast. Look for the Chaos Cast on Spotify or any of your major platforms. We're starting season 2. If I can get everything together, we won't just have it on video podcast on Spotify because I'm having issues uploading audio right now. But anyways, there's your way to listen to it when you're on the road and out of cell service. So we got you that. This is big news in the prepping world. Really everywhere. A federal agency is considering a ban on gas stoves, a source of indoor pollution linked to childhood asthma. So one of my friends, Red Prepper, was talking about this recently. How much longer before they come for your wood stoves? There's already places that are trying to ban wood stoves. How much longer before they ban your chickens? They want you completely dependent, because if you are dependent, you are controllable. They've been on that for a while now, trying to get you dependent. Are you going to depend on them, or are you going to become self-reliant? And we push a lot of that. We teach a lot of that. We've got a lot of video tutorials on how to take care of yourself, how to repair your stuff, the tools you need, the skills you need to learn. I've been going through old manuals now over the last year or two that I had to make sure I've got stuff that I don't really even see anybody else putting up there. Why don't you go buy me a gun shirt, David St. Hubbins? David St. Hubbins. Hey, Rita, good to see you, girl. This is my esthetician friend. I'm gonna tell you, hey, she takes care of them old people when your relatives go to rest. Hey, Rita's the one to go to. There's a lot of them folks out there that might not do you right at the funeral home, but Rita, she makes sure they look good when they go in the ground. I'm gonna tell you, you can't beat an esthetician like Rita. Some of y'all get that later. But anyways, that's a little joke that her and I have. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Kate. We've been kicking troubles for months now, and I think it's finally come back to haunt us, because we'll get a crap load of them in here, and I ignore them. Kate blocks them. Caveman blocks them. Papa the Crash. Somebody blocks them. Big John block them. And so they're like learning, hey, we're going to keep the show rolling. We're not worried about you. And then the ones that keep trying to knock us off, I hadn't realized yet, hey, I just keep coming back. I'm like that dang sore toe you had yesterday. It's back. I'm back. And, all I got to do is show them my lineup, my resources, the newsworthiness, and my handlers at TikTok seem to have an understanding that, hey, we're not going to let these people abuse you like this. So if you're in here to abuse, if you're a troll, you might want to go to the next one. You know, we may have low numbers because you're not in here and whatnot, but hey, we're trying to help folks. Rhonda Heath Sexton, thank you for that follow. Kirsten is trying. Thank you for the follow. Kato, good to see you coming in. Jerry Phillips, I don't know if you're still in here, but hey, glad to have you. I just now seen that. Scoop, welcome in. Hey, share this out. Let's get your friends in there. We're coming down to the last part of the show. We're rolling. We're rolling. We're at 48 minutes. We still got about 20-something minutes, actually. Whoa. Let's see. We got another sudden death. Now, we recently had a young man that they said that he got hit just the right way. It's like a 1 in a million hit, and he fell to the ground. We have an offensive lineman with the U.S. Air Force died after experiencing a medical emergency, quotation marks, because that's what they call it. They don't know what it is. A medical emergency. The Academy announced Tuesday. Hunter Brown, 21. This was a young guy, just starting his life. He just had a medical emergency. He was leaving his dormitory for class. He just woke up. I mean, he wasn't even doing nothing strenuous, And he suffered the unnamed. They actually say this in this article. The unnamed emergency. Academy first responders were called and attempted life-saving measures, but they were unsuccessful. They don't even know what killed this kid. We have just an insane amount of sudden death, folks. We got an insane amount of sudden death that people just don't know why it's happening. Heart problems. Death from heart complications are on the rise. Welcome in, user. Welcome in, Mud Monkey. Good to see you, Mud Monkey. I like that. U.S. and Japan have agreed to boost the readiness of Marine Forces stationed on Okinawa, as well as provide them with anti-ship missiles and other advanced weaponry by 2025. So not only are we going to turn Taiwan into a weapons depot, but we're fixing to start arming Japan. And Japan's working towards having more than defensive capabilities with their military. Yeah, I got the vaccine, buddy. I got it, and I wanted to test it out. I wanted to see. If I die from it, I wanted it to leave a lasting mark in my children's mind. This is why you don't trust the government. I never did, but figure we're gonna try it out. Because if they try to force it on the kids and they're doing it at the school, when I'm not there, I got a kid with asthma, and I want to see how it's gonna affect me. We're pretty close in biology. He even looks like me. He just ain't grew this wonderful beard yet. So, yeah, I did get it, and I'm starting to kind of see enough people dying that, hey, I'm preparing myself for it. I'm just, making things right with the Lord and ready to go. I have had some heart pain. I will say I've never had chest pains in my life, and then I had that. And every once in a while, I'll feel just this weird, it's weird. I'm telling you, I ain't never had this issue. I've had health issues where, I've never had health issues till after all this. So we'll say it like that. I'm not saying it is or it isn't because of the vaccine. I'm just saying it's since the vaccine. We'll just say that, But hey, I went in there, I tested it, I seen what I needed to see. As we go forward, but how many shots? I got all three of the shots. I got fully vaxxed. I'm fully vaxxed. I didn't just go get one. I didn't just go get two. I went and got all three. I didn't go get more. Have I seen people die? I've seen there's plenty of video, and we just read you a report of people that just died out of nowhere. The heart rates, the heart issues are beyond. We're seeing statistics we've never seen with health issues across the board. So, hey, thank you there, Darcy. Thank you for them prayers there, Darcy. Hey, I'm praying it don't affect me either. I might have got one of them placebos, but it's not looking like it. My thing is, I'm not that afraid of death right now. I'm not that scared about it. My blood pressure's higher than it's ever been. All of a sudden I got cholesterol issues. All of a sudden I got this issue, that issue. Every time I go into my doctor now, I'm having another issue. So I don't know. Maybe, hopefully you're right, and ain't nothing bad gonna happen to me. Or what's your name? Yo, it's Kenny from New York. Was that what you were saying? Yo, it's Kenny. Was you the one that was saying that people die from the vaccine? Yeah. Well, he said he's not getting that pass from the vaccine. Yeah. Oh, he's got a pass from it. So you're not really coming in here to stir up trouble like I thought. I hope. If you are, we're going to get rid of him. Oh, we ain't got time for that garbage. British police found a small amount of uranium in a package at London's Heathrow Airport Airport last month. While the uranium was detected, and reportedly posed no harm to the public, it's never good to hear about fissile material. Now, I don't know if they meant to say fissile or missile material, but I may be wrong. I may not be up to date on my nuclear talk. But from one of nuclear weapons state transiting a civilian airport that is reportedly bound for a business run by someone from a nuclear weapons seeking and terror exporting state, Binam bin Talib, a senior fellow focusing on Iranian security and political issues at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, told Fox News Digital. But so basically they found some nuclear, what they're calling they found uranium. They found more uranium than they should have found. We'll just say it like that. There's a lot of things in play, folks. And you're just one of the little folks sitting at home. And I always try to make sure to tell you, you need to have a plan. You need to have a bug out plan. As much as a lot of us plan on bugging in, some of us financially are not able to bug in to the point of, radiation, bug in on the point of a nuclear bomb dropping. You may be getting, there you go, CM Daniels. Now you need to trick that mug out. You need to make sure you got a military grade barrel, military grade bolt carrying group, military grade everything that you can afford. Now, hey, this is a little money at a time, but you'll be glad you got it. And you really need to look at BCM. BCM, that's one of the uppers that I've used, and I love it. It's like shooting a 22. There's so little recoil, but the shock wave gonna slap you in the face. You just have to get used to it. But boy, it's sweet. It is sweet. That term sweet, you know what I'm talking about? Hey, it's dead on. Been shooting mason jars from shooting them from way back. We just gonna say I ain't gonna tell you what my range is. Caveman talking about a deep cave system network. I got a network for you, Caveman. I work in one. M14 is a real weapon. Yes, M1 is it M1A? The M1A, yeah, 308 version of the M1 Garand. Yeah, it's the M14 is a real weapon. Yeah. Now let's see. A Mini 14 is a real weapon too that probably won't be outlawed as quick as the AR. So if you're worried about that in your state, the Mini 14 uses the same ammunition as an AR-15. So, well, these mason jars I shot. I've got some stored in food. Guys, in my country, any weapons is banned. Keep your Second Amendment. Hey, man, I like that, Ewan. We appreciate you coming in here and throwing that. 500 yards versus 800 yards molding. Now, I got something that can reach out there. I think they say a 6.5 Creedmoor can go about a mile. Is it a mile without, any kind of drop? Not quite sure. I'm trying to remember that. But I got something to reach out there. I got something to reach way out there. Yeah, I love it. Got to have that sniper rifle. You got to have good vantage points and an ability to hide. Alabama Redneck, welcome in. Thank you for coming in. But yeah, get prepared. Be prepared to take care of you and your family. If you don't like guns, hey, I understand. Some folks don't. Some of my friends don't. Learn how to use a stick. Learn how to use a crossbow, a bow. We got the stuff up here to teach you how to use sling bows. I just want you to be ready in some way to put up a fight to keep from dying. 5.56 can't. No, you can't. I will say I'd like to get an AR platform 308. I've been looking at the AR-10s for a while, but again, my money has been so highly invested into this as well as just the other preps, because guns is not the only prep you need to have. You need to have food. You need to have a whole lot of things, folks. You need to have skills too. You need to have tools. You need to have ways of taking care of yourself. If there's no way to go to the store, there's no way to buy the implements to repair, you need to have some of that put up. How you doing there, Funtami Halaka? I hope I said that right. Welcome, man. Good to see you in your basement. So Ewan says this is good to have in here. If anyone wants to learn about mushroom growing off grid or in your basement, let me know. So if you want to learn about that, Ewan's your person to go talk to. That's something, it's in the plans. I've got all these plans of what I'm going to do eventually when it comes to prepping. But again, it's always a process. I started one place and I'm going to the next once I get that. I finally got my hot tent set up. Bought in place, testing it out, getting ready to use it. I love it. We've actually got 2 camp stoves. It was a great deal. I could have had 3, but I gave one to my buddy. Yeah, that's exactly right. You'd be the last one to know out in the country. And the thing is there's ways to be prepared, even if all that goes to heck. That Starlink stuff. I was one of them guys, Wrangler Star was talking about how fast he was able to do game stream. Whatever you think about him, he was talking about they were able to do live gaming over Starlink. Solar panels, generators, multi-fuel use generators. I would say one of the biggest things to put up is kerosene, because kerosene is going to last for, I think, up to 15 years in storage. I've tested that. Trust me, I got some that's been sitting out there for many years, and we still use it. And I just keep replacing what I have. I got 2 or 3 jugs out there, and we'll put a little gallon in here and use it. Father-in-law will borrow it, and he'll use it when his furnace went out and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it's been, some of that stuff's been sitting out there for a long time, probably a decade. But it's still working, and it's a base in a lot of different things that you may want to make. It's also you've got lanterns that can run off of it. You've got all kinds of things. There's old cook stoves that run off of it that you can find. The heirloom seeds are going to be a must, because if you can't go to the store and buy seeds, you got to get your seed from somewhere, and you might as well just get it from yourself. So one of the things I've got a lot of my vegetables covered. I've got my grains covered, corn. I've got some sweet corn. I've got the one thing I don't have covered right now is heirloom potato, seed potatoes. So that's something I got to work on. But I've got some sorghum, because that's you can make your molasses, you can make animal feed, you can do so much with sorghum. But yeah, 100,000 different seeds. So that's let me give you a follow here. I'm gonna give you and Ewan a follow. That's a good thing to. Okay, I'm already following Ewan. Foraging is going to be a must. Now, that's something we do a lot of. One of my friends, now he's no longer on here, but he's on Instagram, but they call him Goon6 Actual. He knows a lot about foraging. He's a former military. My friend Jeremy Calgaro, he's been through the SEER training. He's a prepper. He's got a farm, so I can guarantee you he knows a lot about foraging as well as holistic farming methods. So you can go follow Jeremy Survival Farming Canada. Yeah, so my grandparents done it all. They done all this stuff. They had to farm. My grandfather got sick. They ended up having to sell the cows off. My uncles went to work in the factories because that was good money. My grandfather didn't want them to grow up on the farm. My grandmother literally would not teach my mother how to can, because she didn't want her to grow up on a farm like she had. She wanted her to go out and get a college education and do better for herself. And my mama to this day doesn't know how to can. And so we've been slowly reclaiming that. I've been relearning a lot of things. But I do remember walking in, seeing all the stuff we canned up there. The sweet pickles were amazing. I was like 6 years old, and I remember them sweet pickles. Man. And there was still a lot of them still down there, probably good to eat up until they tore Granny's house down. I still found some of them old Blue Mason jars down there that they had. But yeah, you need to invest in these things. I mean, the pews, the guns, whatever you want to call them things are great to have. But there's a point where you got what you base your base of what you need. You need to start investing in other things. Taters is going to be probably the thing I would suggest everybody to start with. They're easy to grow. And here's the thing about potatoes. Now, the Irish potato famine. They were some of the healthiest peasantry, they called them in one of the accounts I was reading, because they eat like 12 to 20 potatoes a day. The English military wanted their young men in their military because the guys that were coming off the streets of their cities in London, they didn't have no teeth, or their teeth were bad and they couldn't eat the hardtack bread and biscuits that they were serving the soldiers. Apparently, the potatoes made these young men healthy, gave them good gum health somehow at some point, because they weren't starving, and they said they were good, strong, strapping men, and that's what they wanted in their militaries. So when the potato famine hit and that blight hit, which was a gross example of laissez-faire capitalism, when we allow the interchange of products between countries, this world trade garbage, that's when laissez-faire capitalism begins to root its ugly head in out of the normal capitalism, begins to destroy things. And that's what happened in Ireland. Laissez-faire capitalism. They were sending the potatoes. There was a blight on. They were sending the potatoes over to England to the rich landowners that had bought up all the land, kind of like what we're seeing right here. We were sending our fuel over to another country because of the big world organization we got. And we had what we needed to get us by. They had to flip that ship back around and bring it back. But that's kind of what was happening there. They took all their potatoes out and people were starving, so they left and came to America. A lot of them settled down south after being in, the war. Yep. Britain was the cause of the tater famine, and they were the reason it was so severe because the Queen didn't want to admit how badly she had caused this issue with her policies and what she had done. So she turned down, I believe it was a sheik, trying to think. I think it was somebody. It may have been a Turkish sheik. I may be wrong, but she turned down this guy that was offering food, to the Irish. Said, no, we don't need it. Didn't want to get, didn't want to admit how wrong she had been. So she pretty well just left them there and to die, and they left and went to America to live. And now we see there's nowhere else to run to, folks. There's nowhere else to run to. These communists, these aristocracy type people, these big business corporation people, that they've screwed up every corner of the world right now. There's nowhere left to run. Maybe there's a few South American countries that you could run to survive, but there's nowhere else left to run. We're edging towards the end, my friends. We're edging towards that point of no return. And a lot of people are getting freaked out by what they're seeing going on around the world, around them. A lot of people are uncertain, but I always put my faith in the Lord. That's how I'm always prepared and never scared. Now I talk about the Freemasons. I'm not getting into too much conspiracy on this part of the show. I'm going to be going on the 20th, this coming next week, and this next Friday, I believe. Yeah, next Friday, I'm going on the Cult of Conspiracy podcast. They're a conspiracy podcast. I love listening to them. We got in contact, and I'm going to be going on that show to talk about preparedness. Recently, I'd say, I guess, a social media acquaintance, Food Forest Abundance, they were on that show talking about stepping outside the beast system. Food Forest Abundance, if you don't watch their stuff, go watch it. Go check them out. They've got good content. They're teaching you how to grow food passively in the food forests like my grandparents had in their front yard. But, I can have all this knowledge. I can have all this skill. I can have all this preps. I can have all these things in place. And none of it might get used. None of it may do me good in the places I end up. You can't be fully prepared for every situation as a human. And you ask me, why do I say always prepared, never scared? Because it's not me I'm depending on. It's my relationship with the Lord. Now, you may not like that. You may not care for that. But that is why, it talks in that scripture about it, the angels of the Lord encampeth about him. We talked about that last time. I've got protection. And you have that opportunity for protection too. I want to read you this excerpt from my devotions today, Luke 19:10. The Son of Man came to find lost people and save them. He's looking for somebody that's lost. You feel lost today? He's looking to save you. Master Cato says, our God is the God who follows. Have you sensed him following you? He is the one who came to seek and save the lost. Have you sensed him seeking you? Have you felt his presence through the kindness of a stranger, through the majesty of a sunset, or the mystery of romance, not bromance, romance, through the question of a child or the commitment of a spouse, through a word well spoken or a touch well timed? Have you sensed him? God gives us himself, even when he chose our hovel over his house and our trash over his grace. Still he follows, never forcing us, never leaving us, patiently persistent, faithfully present. He uses all his power to convince us that he is who he is, and he can be trusted to lead us home. That's what I'm talking about. I've seen too many coincidences in my life to be coincidences at this point. I've seen too much protection, too much favor, too many needs met and supplies provided out of the blue. There's one coming. Y'all going to get to experience it with me. Not sure where it's coming from, not sure who it is, what it is, how it is, but there's one coming in my life. I feel like I need to tell you, somebody there, hey, there's one coming to you. There's a lot going on in the world, but you don't have to be afraid, my friends. You don't have to be scared. There's somebody that wants to help you. He's reaching his hand out and he's saying, hey, I'm going to help you. I'm going to take care of you. You just got to let me. You know, I've always seen it to be true in my life, how I've been taken care of, how I've been blessed, how I've made it through. I'm still here is what I tell people. You know, there's so many things that should have took me down, but they didn't. That one thing came in the nick of time, out of the blue. And the Lord made a way. So today, if you're here listening with me, or you're going to listen to this on recap, and you listen to this long to me yammer and talk, this is the most important thing I would say you need to listen to. Hey, somebody out there wants to take care of you. He wants to help you. His burden's light. His yoke is light, and his burden's easy. Vice versa. I got that mixed up. He don't care about your faults or any of that stuff. He just wants to help you. And then we'll go from there. That's the thing we look at. He's like, hey, let me in. We'll talk a while. We'll figure something out. I want you to think about that. And he's been courting us from the beginning of time. Before he sat down here on earth. And he's coming back again. And I believe, my friends, we are in that time. I believe I've read the Bible through many, many times. You know, it's something my dad taught me, something as a minister I've been promoted to do, and I'm glad that's one of the things they push, because I see so many ministers now that don't do that, so many Christians now that don't pick that Bible up. They'll listen to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that come along and tell them something. You know, anything I'm telling you, hey, you go pick that Bible up. I guarantee you, I'm not telling you something that ain't in there. I've read the thing. And I'm telling you, the Lord will take care of you. You may not feel like it at the time because he's preparing you for something else. I've learned that in my life. A lot of the things that I think are hard, that I don't like, that stretch me, that pull me, that grow me, are just for that. They're to grow me. They're to make me more than I am. And I'm glad for that I got somebody that well vested in me. And he wants to be invested in you. He wants to take care of you. Now, we see why 1 talking about Psalm 91 and Luke 22 and 36. And I'd have to go all the way into some other thing to look that up right now. But I'll say, hey, go look those scriptures up right now for yourself. Go look those up. Begin to read them. The Lord earnestly wants to help you and take care of you. I had somebody tell me the other day that I wasn't one of the little children of the house of Zion or something. And that's not me. We're under a new covenant. He came to save the lost. He came to save, because, hey, I'm worth even the dogs get to lick up the crumbs. I'll tell you that right now. That one lady said, don't even the dogs get to eat the crumbs? Because I think he called her a dog in their terminology, like a lap dog. And she said, don't they even get to lick up the crumbs that fall off the table? And Jesus found more faith in that Gentile than he did the Jewish nation at the time. Not all of them, because there's a lot of Jews that followed him. There's Jews that killed him, there's Jews that followed him, and so we got Twitter just went down. But anyways, that's the show, my friends. We're going to have a time of prayer. Put your requests, sell your cloak and buy a sword. Exactly. He told them disciples go out armed that second time. You don't go with nothing this time, but hey, sometimes you're going to have to be ready. He was getting them ready. Put their faith in him. That way they wouldn't be so quick to pull a sword. How you doing, Joseph? It's good to see you. He kept his cloak and made his own sword. I like that, caveman. I got a cloak and a sword, but if I had to sell my cloak to get a sword, I believe I would. Again, in a world full of gun negativity, spread gun positivity with your Happy Gun shirt. He's a happily demented gun that wants to help you spread gun positivity around your neighborhood, in your grocery store, and at your next PTA meeting. He will go with you. He will spread gun positivity, and he will expose the gun haters in your life. And I hope you go and get you one there. I think they're up to $24. It's $23.98, but we'll just say it's going to be $24. And that includes the shipping, my friends. So it's good to have you in here. We're going to say a prayer. Put your prayers in the comments. Even if you're late in the game and you're on recap, put it down there because it'll give me a notification. I'll come back. We'll throw that in the prayer list. But we're going to go to the Lord in prayer. Lord, you see right now the things we're facing. There's fear within and without. But I pray, God, that you just help us to stay steadfast in you, knowing that you're going to bring comfort and that we're going to be comforted in a way that we're able to comfort others as things progress and get worse in others' lives too. God, I pray that you start helping some of these ostriches get their heads out the sand and start getting ready, seeing what's fixing to happen in this nation. I believe we're heading towards collapse. I believe we're heading towards a recession or just a flat out depression. And the whole world's going to feel it. We're going to see a mess and people are going to have to figure things out. I pray, God, that they don't pull their heads out of the sands too late, God. I pray that you help us to prepare as many as we can. I pray that you just set your protection down on those, Lord God, that may not have a way. You helped me. I believe you can help them, Lord. We just talked to a friend the other day, Lord, that was you were able to help get what they needed, Lord. And I thank you, Lord, for that friend you helped. I thank you, Lord, for these folks that you help me to help every day, Lord. And I put that in your hands, and I ask you just to grow that, continue that, use me to keep doing this in some way, shape, or form, and use them to do that too, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Now all said, amen. I thank y'all for coming in, and I hope y'all have a good one. We getting up out of here.